What is happening, everybody? Welcome. My name is PLD.
And I'm Richard Eric Jarvie. Welcome to Class Action and the Tournament, Volume 2 of the Mission Impossible. Wow, that was not a word sentence in English. Let's do it again. Let's do it. What?
Hey, everybody, take two. My name is PLD. And this guy.
I'm Richard Eric Jarvie. Welcome to Class Action. It's Volume 2 of the Mission Impossible Tournament, of the mini tournament, I should rather say. This is the semifinals.
That's true. It's not really much of a tournament. It's just a four movie tournament because we threw out Mission Impossible 1 and 2. I like 1. 2 has got some fun parts, even though it's
for sure.
Definitely, but they're definitely both lower scale than 3 through 6 are for us.
Yeah,
so
3 to 6. We just wanted to clarify which is the best of them according to us.
True, because all four of these I do really love. I could rewatch any of them, and I always feel like every time I watch one of them, like that one is my current favorite, something to that effect.
Right, you said that last week as well.
I did the same thing.
That's how freaking awesome they are.
That is true. Except for I will admit a little bias here because we'll talk about it. We're gonna be. Because as far as we know, I just usually doesn't matter what our biases are, it ends up totally different anyway at the end. We never get exactly where we think we're going to go anyway. But to be fair, Mission Impossible 3 has always been my favorite of the movies of the Mission Impossible franchise. 6 has always been kind of my second favorite though, and then 5 and 4 are like right there with them though. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested to see how this tournament's gonna shake out at the end, but. We're going to start. We already started with 1. We got Rogue Nation beat Ghost Protocol last week.
Yeah, by a hair.
And now this week we got Mission Impossible 3, Mission Impossible Fallout. I'm psyched.
This should be the final.
It should be.
Right?
But in a way, it's kind of interesting because every once in a while you see a tournament like this, like bigger tournament usually, but you usually get that like round 1 or round 2 match. You're kind of like, oh, this is going to be interesting. It makes for an interesting final then, because then like you could actually have a Rogue Nation versus 3 or Rogue Nation versus Fallout, which would be not much more interesting, but it would be interesting to see because you don't really think about those two together sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. But anyway. Let's get to further a little bit to the next level here. I want to welcome everybody to the Action Industries YouTube channel, home of Ben Bateman and Andrew Guy. This is their little slice of the YouTube, so we give them a big old salute for letting us play in their sandbox, so to speak. This is a lot of fun here. We've been here for quite a while. This is I think it's our 36th
35th. I think it's 35th episode. Yeah.
I don't know if the outline's right or not. I might be wrong on the outline, but either way.
But what do we do on Class Action?
I'm going to tell you right now. Thanks for asking. Thanks for asking, Jarvie. On Class Action, we take option A, we take option B. We put them up against each other. 5 custom-made categories, and we have them do battle to see which one is superior. It could be anything. It could be movies. It could be franchises. It could be actors. It could be directors. It could be characters. It could be composers. We haven't done that yet. We could, though. It could be going into like music and TV if we wanted to. You never know. You know what I'm saying? Anything could go. We just tend to be movies first because that's our first love, I think. So
that's true. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to do personalities and kind of to do composers. I feel like I'd love to do it, but I feel like we should have like wide array of music knowledge.
Yeah, we should
actually have studied music to get into their styles and techniques.
Yeah, and you know what? Doesn't matter anyway because John Williams wins them all, so it's okay.
And it's only because Hans Zimmer can't be in the matchup.
Is that what it is?
That's the only way he would win.
Wow. All right. Anyway, let's move on now before we get into a heated battle about that. We'll go to our first game of the week. You play a couple games usually before we get into the actual categories, and our first game we always play is What Would Ed Harris Play? I'm gonna pick this picture this time. I don't know why.
Oh wow,
that looks like a.
Why does he look like Hannibal Lecter in this one?
He does look a little bit. He's a little older. He's from Westworld. He's got a little blood on me.
That's in what, dude? Spoilers.
Ooh.
I'm still in season 1.
Well, it's in Westworld at one point. He's still in Westworld. That's that's the
All right.
spoiler part, I guess.
You pretty much spoiled something for me already, but I'll be honest, I can't remember what you said it was. Like, so I'm good.
That's good. That's good for you. Good for you, at least. But Ed Harris is my favorite actor of all time, and I like we always agree that he always makes a movie better. If he makes a bad movie good, he can make a good movie better. Never mails a performance; he always enriches it. So we figure we'll recast somebody with Ed Harris, or we could write a new role for him to insert him into the movie somehow, just for shits and giggles, because it's fun. That's what we do.
It's just become one of my favorite bits that we do on the show.
It is. It's one of mine also. As much as I get some people give me shit about it, like my Ed Harris love, but that's all right. I don't mind. I got exactly. Thanks, Jarvie. That's why I love it.
It's your show. You do whatever the fuck you want.
Right. Damn right. Anyway, so last week you actually had an interesting one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you want to go and start? Why don't we start with you and say what we're going to do this week with?
Yeah, I'm probably going to underwhelm everyone today. Well, because
are you going to underwhelm, or are you going to make it better?
I think I'm going to underwhelm. I'll be honest, because okay, so I should start off with Fallout since he just has to continue as the character. I feel like I've kind of limited my options, but I had an idea that if he would have died in Rogue Nation or something, like they would have, changed the storyline, I would still have Ed Harris back in Fallout, but not as a character, but only as a mask. So pretty much him as an actor, he's in the movie, but he's not a character since he's being played by someone else. So, but I think that would give Ed Harris an interesting thing that you would see Ed Harris do Tom Cruise.
Okay.
So that I kind of want to see that, like how he would try to do this aggressive sincerity.
That'd be kind of cool to see, actually. I kind of like that little pin shit there. I like that. That's nice. That's nice. Okay. All right.
I'll be totally honest. It winged it. Like, I'll come clean, just winged it.
I'm going to jump in here on my Fallout. See, this friend of mine, he came up with this great suggestion for 4 and 5. And so I'm just going to continue it. And so Ed Harris... You don't remember. I'm taking yours and moving it on. All I'm doing is taking yours and moving it on. You didn't say Solomon Lane died in Rogue Nation, so as far as I'm concerned, he just keeps going in Solomon Lane. But the leader of the syndicate, the leader of the IMF, and the whole thing comes to a head now because he's a disgraced former leader. So he gets a bigger part in Fallout, I think, than Solomon Lane had. We'll get into that a little bit later. Solomon, I think, gets a little bit. He's a little, I don't know, underwhelming is not the right word, but he's not the big baddie comparatively. He is, but it's a lot more about August Walker.
Lark is the actual leader.
Right. Exactly. And Solomon Lane is this other character involved in the thing. So I'd want to have Ed Harris continue with Solomon Lane, but to kind of expand his role since he's the leader now and everything else. So it makes it a bigger role for him in that. It might be cheap, it might be underwhelming, but I really want to see where your story ends at this point. So I'm going to continue to sub to your storyline and go from there.
I'll allow it.
All right.
No objections. I rest my case.
Sustained. All right. So why don't you tell me what you did for 3?
Oh yeah, this is I feel like my boring one. But number 3 did something I think the other Mission Impossible movies didn't do, in the sense of they expanded more of Hunt's personal life. And since we saw like his love interest, like he got married, I feel like Ed Harris should have been Tom Cruise's father.
I thought
like
about
show up when they're getting married. He's like the only one that's been invited. Show up at the wedding. I don't know what else he could do other than the fact that he might have also gotten abducted with Michelle Monaghan. But and then when they do get abducted, he kicks ass, beats everyone, and he becomes John Lark. Okay, I don't know. It's going too far. No, but actually, like Solomon Lane as Ed Harris is Tom Cruise's father. I didn't tie that in.
You just tied the whole thing in there, expanding, man.
Right?
I like it. Well, the funny thing is, I actually did steal a little bit of your thunder in a way, but it made sense to me. With 3 is that I did think, because the whole idea that the beginning, the Keri Russell character is his protege, and she gets taken by Davian, and and getting killed by Davian. But the idea is that we don't know who to trust. Do we trust Lawrence Fishburne? Do we trust Billy Crudup?
Yep.
Back and forth, back and forth. So in my case, Tom Cruise decides he can't trust either of them. The only one he can trust is the one who trained him.
Right.
So it was kind of similar to like what your things before, except for the fact is that like he personally knows Ed Harris. He trained with him for all these years. He's like probably retired. He's like somewhere, maybe he's living in Washington. Maybe he's doing a desk job in Washington somewhere. Maybe he's actually a secretary of state. Someone he's like a really high level guy. But he's like not really working in the field at all, or even in the division anymore. He gets a call from Tom Cruise from Ethan Hunt. And he's got that instinct. He's got to get back into it. It becomes the only guy that Tom Cruise could trust. Ethan Hunt can trust, and that's when he ends up helping get Davian out of there at the end there. So
like have Ed Harris be like this, like completely like Nick Nolte in
Angel Has Fallen.
Angel Has Fallen, like in the wood, like long hair, like but only hair from the side,
right,
really bearded up.
Exactly, just like that. Maybe even a little less colorful version of that. Maybe I don't know, with the big long hair kind of thing. That's right. Like, I like to see something for sure like that. So he does that whole thing. So that is going to be our what Ed Harris plays this week. I hope you like it. If you come up with something in the chat there, we always love to hear more. We love to hear other ideas. Because your ideas are probably better than ours anyway. That's how it usually rolls, right? So
if Brian Hurst shows up, he's going to destroy us.
It's all over then. It's all over. But all right. Well, after that, we'll move on to our next little game we play. It's a game that you love to explain. We call it the Public Defender. Jarby, tell me all about the Public Defender.
Oh, yes, my favorite game, the Public Defender. It's pretty much an off-the-cuff list. Now, why we call it a Public Defender is because in movies, usually the Public Defenders are overworked. They're underpaid. They are constantly doing things that are out of the reach, and when they show up in court, they pretty much, well, since they're so overworked, they have to come up with things on the spot, off the cuff. Now, nothing against public defenders in real life. They do an amazing job. I probably will need some of their help at some point. Yeah, so since we started off as like a legal pun kind of a thing for our show, we kind of thought it would be funny to come up with a name for that. So henceforth, the Public Defender.
Public Defender. All right. It's not the high price Johnny Cochran type. It's not the person who's come in there with all the legal teams and all like that. We have the one overworked person that's got to figure out something on their own. Well, we have a guest this week. It's a pre-recorded video since we recorded an ungodly time for most people. We have a guest from the Action Army, another general from the Action Army, call sign Quinn Megs McCurley. She sent in the videos for us. She's recorded. I have not seen them. I just uploaded them blind, and we're going to find out what she has to say and give us our list. And then, well, I'm already I get panicky at this point when we start.
Yeah, me too. I should have said, I didn't even say that we never know the list in advance. Like we don't know what we have to do in advance.
That's
so pretty much it has to be a top. We started off with a top 5 list, but we expanded it to top 6. So we either get 3.
We each get 3. That's pretty much how it goes. So then afterwards we'll hear what Megs has to say. She gives us her own answers, and of course she's been thinking about a little bit more. She'll probably once again be better than us. Why do we do this show? Like everybody's always better than us anyway at this point.
Why do we do this show? I don't.
Because I love it. Because I still love it. I'll get to talk to you, and pretty much what it is. But all right, without further ado, Megs.
Hello, PLD and Jarvie. The Mission Impossible franchise series has had many supporting characters throughout its history, and all of them have been crucial to the completion of the mission. Now your mission, should you choose to accept, will be to cast and assign roles to a 3 to 5 member team that will join Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt as he endeavors on the newest installment of the series, which will take place in space. If you find it necessary, you may use one former IMF team member on your list. Choose wisely, because if you fail, the Secretary of State will disavow any knowledge of your actions. Good luck. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's an interesting one. We're going to have to come up and cast our own Mission Impossible team, 3 to 5. I guess I'll say it out here. Like Jarvie had a little issue. He couldn't hear for some reason. I'm hoping it went over. I'm going to test this afterwards. Hopefully this went out okay for everybody else. So what I'm going to do is I'll tell you what she said,
right?
And you're just going to have to trust me. That's weird. You couldn't hear it because I've had this before happen on StreamYard sometimes where it happens. And
no, but I can lip read. I understood everything.
You did.
It's like Wanaka.
Wow, you're impressive. All right. Well, it is 3 to 5 team member. We got a cast for the next Mission Impossible franchise to use as supporting roles, because they're always at the crew. Like we always talk about the crew they have, right? So we got to cast our own Mission Impossible team.
I like that.
I do like that a lot too.
Completely new, like with actors or movie characters.
Actors in roles. She did not specify whether or not whether it's all new or not. I'm gonna say it's all new. I'm gonna say for whatever reason, Tom Cruise is starting fresh. We have to come up with a 3 to 5 team member. So I guess it's not a top 3 really. It's kind of different. That's a different kind of question. I kind of like that. Let's see. Okay, who do we want? Who do I want on my team?
It's not as easy as I would have thought. So we're each going with 3?
Yeah, we'll go with 3 because we can't like the whole thing. So we'll just do 3. As far as that goes, you want to come up with it together? Do something different?
I think we should. We should try to. Yeah, we should have like a tech guy or
tech guy,
or tech person. Yeah, I want way more women. I want to be like equal because in MI they only have like Rebecca Ferguson pretty much.
True. Well, no, it's not true.
Or insert but that's like insert the good looking. Sort of. They don't usually have like a meaty storyline,
I get that. That's true. Rebecca Ferguson does have the most to do in all of the films, I think, probably as far as females go. All right. Well, let's have a tech person then. Let's have what else we want? Like a getaway kind of guy, like a getaway vehicle kind of guy. Maybe a driver. Have the drivers like that, and then we can have just another badass spy. It's almost like a second to Tom Cruise in a way. I think that role gets put in a lot. So.
And then maybe the Tom Cruise is the leader, but maybe the head of the agency.
We can do that too. That's what I do.
Right?
Screw it. I'm putting Ed Harris as the head of the agency.
Damn it! I had Robert Redford for that.
That's a good one. That's good. Those are both good top agent type people. So there you go. Down for the. I could put Ed Harris
would have been freaking awesome.
Ooh, Denzel would be good too. I like that too. Okay.
All right. As the techie. I would have. I want to say Joseph Gordon-Levitt or someone like completely different from Benji.
That could be good. Yeah, I do want somebody different from Benji too. But I'm not sure where I want to go with it. Maybe go someone like Joseph Gordon-Levitt could be good. I could see that working out pretty well. He's young enough to be kind of. I'll go with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I'll go with that. That's a good one. I think I can do that. All right, so now I need somebody with like vehicle driving expertise, and how can you not go with drive? Go with Ryan Gosling.
Okay, there we go.
Ryan Gosling is the getaway vehicle kind of guy, or whatever.
Yeah, the kind of the stoic, quiet.
Yes, the stoic, quiet. Exactly.
Have him play that type of. Okay, as the second to Ethan, the spy.
Yes, the second.
I would have Zoe Saldana.
Zoe Saldana, perfect. That's a great one. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I like that. I like that a lot.
Who else do we have?
We could throw somebody else in there. We could have who else?
You have Ed Harris and Gosling.
Yep.
I have Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Saldana.
I think that's our team right there.
All right, I'm good with it.
Oh, to make that our team. I like that. That's our team. We're going to have that be our team. And Eric started the agency. Zoe Saldana a second. Ryan Gosling can be a second, but also kind of a stoic vehicle guy. And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt's our tech. I love it. I'll go with it. All right. Well, I'll let you know what she says later on because I'm going to play the second video. I don't know if you're going to hear it again, but we'll find out. Let's see. Here we go.
First off, congratulations. I'm sure you guys did a great job with your list, and I hope you guys had fun. I know I did with mine. So here is my 4-member team that I have decided to place on this mission. When I think about a space endeavor, I think that there is always those people on the ground that are offering direct technical and calculation supports to the people that are actually conducting the mission. So fulfilling that role is going to be Taraji Henson. She is going to reprise a role that is similar to her biopic Hidden Figures, where she plays the mathematician whiz who is able to do quick calculations in her head and on paper. It will be updated, obviously, for the newer technologies, but she will be kind of that nerd character that will be providing direct support from Earth. Now, when we move up into who is actually going into space, obviously Tom Cruise will be up there, and supporting him will be Luther, which I think to spin his character a little bit, you put him in an uncomfortable position to where he's not really in his element as much. He's a bit uncomfortable in this state, and you put opposite him Michael Pena, who is going to be more of like the Benji character, but someone who's more in his element. He is someone who's very comfortable in this space. He knows the space vehicles inside and out. He is a tech wizard, but also has that comedic side and amazement at all the things that Ethan Hunt does in his Tom Cruisiness. All the preposterous things he intends to do is going to play off well between those three. Now, our fourth member is going to be someone that Tom Cruise has already worked with successfully on another film. This is going to be a slightly different dynamic in their relationship, and that's going to be Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt is going to provide the character who has already started this mission, failed, and is now bringing in the IMF to complete the mission with her. Now, throughout the film, you don't know whether or not she is actually on your side, or if she has her own ambitions, or if she's even been compromised by the failure of her mission. So she's going to provide a little bit of a problem for Ethan Hunt and the rest of the crew. So that's what I came up with. Look forward to hearing the rest of the episode. Mission complete.
Wow. Okay. That was
a list.
That was quite a list. I'm going to say that I got to say, I don't know about you, but I want to switch my answer a little bit.
Yeah, we gotta. You know, Joseph Gordon-Levitt felt kind of. I don't know. He's one of my like favorite actors, and I always want to do more. But it was Panic as well. But like what she said, Michael Pena as the tech guy. We gotta switch that.
That's a guy. I like that. I do like that. And damn, Emily Blunt also. I almost want to put her in. I just want to add her to our team. I don't care. We don't need to take anybody else out. Just add her to the team.
I'm not opposed. I kind of like, because I feel like she would, because she's also like, she plays these kick-ass roles that she would like clash with Saldana.
And like Meg said, they have the great chemistry from Live, Die, Repeat, Edit Tomorrow. So they already have that kind of chemistry. So yeah, that works well. So I like that. Well, thank you, Megs.
Thank you so much. That was an awesome list.
Assist. I love that. That was a great challenge too. We kind of failed a little bit. Hopefully, everyone else in the chat can do a little better than we did. I definitely panicked a little bit, but I still think we got a good overall team. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go with that.
You got Ed Harris in there. I
had to get Ed Harris in there. Although Denzel, that's not a good choice though too. Denzel is definitely a good choice. Maybe we can have them both in there, Denzel and Ed together.
The only problem with Denzel is I feel like he wouldn't want a role that's not the lead. I feel like Idris Elba would have taken it. Like, well, because he has played that type of role before.
True. Well, maybe Idris Elba could be like, maybe Ed Harris is a little older. Ed Harris and Idris is like the secondary lead or something. Secondary of the function, maybe more the liaison, or Ed's like the big top guy kind of thing, maybe. You like that? We'll do that. Why not? We'll see. Well, we'll try it out. It could be either way.
True. Yeah, we'll make it work.
I like it. All right. Well, that is Public Defender. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with us with that. If you want to, like I said, throw your choices in the chat. I'd love to read them as well. But let's move on now. Let's move on to, well, first we have one more little small gaming play. This is the quick one we call Snap Judgment. Before we get into the categories, we say which one we think is going to be the winner before we get to duke it out.
Yeah, because we don't know each other's picks or answers or anything. So This is just on hunch.
on our hunches. My hunch is my bias. I go Mission Impossible 3.
My hunch is my bias. I'm going Fallout.
That's true. So wait, is Fallout your favorite of the films? Just like if you had to say,
yeah,
you had to say.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is going to make it a very interesting category.
But breaking the movies down, these things can take a huge turn.
Always changes things.
Yep.
Well, we are going to go with the same categories we did last week because we figured it was only fair to the tournament. I think next week we'll try to come up with newer categories for the final.
Yep.
I think it's probably the best because we don't want to discuss the same thing for the movies. But this is the ones we had last week and what we're doing this week. We have the better opening because Mission Impossible always has like a kind of a cool opening sequence. We have the better crew, just like what we were talking about, which is the better cast of characters that are supporting Tom or Ethan rather. Number 3, we got the better ultimate stunt, the better stunt sequence that we like from the movie. 4, better villain, and then 5, the better mission. What's the better overall? Is it harder? Is it better to follow the storyline? Whatever they really need to get done, that's what we want to see happen. So those are our 5 categories. And, let's just get right into it with the better opening.
Let's jump in.
I'll take the better opening first.
Take the lead.
I got 3 words for you. Count to 10.
Yep. Game over. This is Fallout doesn't have even much of an intro. So.
It's surprising to me. That surprises me actually because they had kind of been ramping up. 4 had a big opening. 5 had the big plane sequence.
Yep.
4 had the Russian mob and then blowing up and eventually blow up the Kremlin. There's a big long intro if you want to go that route. But Fallout just kind of has the little sequence where they lose plutonium. It sets up the story in a good way.
Very well. It sets it up very well. It's actually it's a different approach to the whole movie. It gives you immediately you'll latch on to her as Ethan's long lost love.
Right.
So that's always in the back of your mind, but when it comes to badass openings, that's not what they usually do. But I do love that Fallout has that different approach. But again, Cruz showing the full spectrum of all these powers, acting powers,
I don't even care if they repeat it later. I'm actually happy they repeat it again later on. I'm happy that we actually get to one of those. It's tried and true trope where you start something, you show something from the end of the film or towards the end of the film, and you go back to it later on. But it's so powerful, man. I could watch that. Anytime I watch that, I'm sit there and I'm engrossed in it. Philip Seymour Hoffman being a fucking badass, Tom Cruise going through the gamut of emotions. I love it.
You really have to acknowledge to yourself when you're watching the count to 10 scene. You have to this is him doing that. Okay, now he's moved on to that emotion. If you just I remember seeing it in the cinema the first time. I was just okay, they're doing the the usual things they're showing the end. It's it didn't really work for me. After I heard how people have analyzed what Cruz does in that scene, takes on a completely different.
I would say if you've only watched the movie once, watch it again. Now that you've seen the whole movie through, and you go back and see it again how it begins, you see the whole count to 10 part. And
you got to do what's right. What is right.
And the tear comes down. The tear comes down.
No.
He doesn't believe it because he's never failed.
Yep.
But then even if you take that away, even if you extend the opening out, so Fallout has the beginning with the wedding sequence, and then it has the
when he gets the mission.
He has to shoot Luther.
That one. Okay.
In
You're going that far back.
For it to do that, even extend it out, and then in 3, you have the little bit of party to extend out to the rescue of the Kara Russell character.
The party is fucking awesome.
Party's great.
Party. Yeah,
it's Tom Cruise retired.
Monica. How did he hear that?
Exactly.
In that moment, I would marry him. I would too.
I would too.
Me too, man. I'll marry him.
It's so perfect, man. So I gotta give us a 3 hands down. I love Fallout's opening. 3 just it works. So you're good with that one too?
Right, absolutely. Good. This is hands down to Mission Impossible 3.
Okay. Better crew. This is yours.
Yes, sir.
You can take better crew.
So this is a complete flip on our previous discussion. MI3, in my opinion, has the weakest crew next to Ethan Hunt. Jonathan Rhys-Meyers and Maggie Q, awesome actors. they were doing exactly what Paula Patton and Jeremy Renner did in Ghost Protocol, but they did it better. So I don't know. Yeah, they're forgettable. They don't bring him back. They're just there. They're loyal to him from the start. Like, we don't get any real struggle with them. Like Paula Patton's character in Ghost Protocol, we had an arc for her. We had like something tragic happen. In this one, they're just there. They're awesome, but they're just there. So I'm gonna piggyback on when we talked about Rogue Nation and Ghost Protocol, like Rebecca Ferguson, like having Wing Graves back in the fold again. That's he wasn't in MI3, right?
Who?
Ving Rhames.
Oh, yeah, yes, he was. He was in 3.
Why am I blanking on him?
Yeah, he wasn't in 4. He was in. Oh, he was at the very end of 4.
He was. Yeah. Wow, it's totally blanked on.
Yeah, the whole sequence of him like telling Tom Cruise that he shouldn't get married and he shouldn't be in love and all that stuff. It's a whole thing like that. So, yes, Ving Rhames.
But the decider really is because they bring in Peg, like in 3, Peg is there, but the decider is, again, it's Rebecca Ferguson. Like she takes it over from Jonathan Rhys-Meyers and Maggie Q completely. So I don't want to take it away. Like they're great actors, but in this movie they are forgettable, really forgettable.
I will say also, Rebecca Ferguson is, we said it last time how much we love Rebecca Ferguson. She's such a phenomenal performer, and I agree 100%. Because Luther cancels each other out.
Exactly.
Simon Pegg kind of cancels each other out. I mean, actually, Simon Pegg's better in Fallout because he's still like
he's in the field.
He's an analyst. Yeah, he's an analyst in 3, so it's not like that important. And again, you're right. Jonathan Rhys-Meyers and Maggie Q are, I don't want to say it's poorly, but they're forgettable. Like I totally forgot Declan. I had no recollection of him at all when I watched the movie again. Mission Impossible 3 is my favorite one. I was like, oh yeah, that guy's in there. I forgot about that. I remember Maggie Q, and she has some good moments, but compared to Rebecca Ferguson, so.
And also, like you gotta mention Henry Cavill, because in the first half of the movie, he's a part of the Fallout crew, and they have awesome back and forth, like jumping out, like sort of always trying to undermine Hunt, and
that's fun.
But still helping, the bathroom fight.
I'd even throw in, as much as I love Lawrence Fishburne as the boss in 3, I love him in that role. Alec Baldwin is just as good, if not better, in Fallout. So they really, at worst, they cancel each other out. So it really does come down to Rebecca Ferguson wiping the floor with anybody else at that point. So I also will give it to Fallout.
All right, there we go.
Interested to see what the chat's saying right now about these choices.
Yeah,
they're on the same line, same wavelength as us or not. But
same. You sounded Australian for a second.
Same. All right. Well, let's move on then to better ultimate stunt. This was a more difficult one this week because what are the ultimate stunts? I mean, you had the obvious one in Ghost Protocol. You had some of the obvious one really in Rogue Nation. But these didn't have the real big obvious ones. So we both actually chose different things to a degree. I went with, for Mission Impossible 3, I went with the Shanghai building jump, which was
the Rabbit's Foot mission.
Yes, the Rabbit's Foot mission. When he's jumping from the one building to the skyscraper to skyscraper. Now, this isn't Mission Impossible.
Sorry. You're talking about the beginning the slingshot, or when he's jumping out the window at the end.
Coming out the window, and he does the fulcrum, and then lands on the
okay,
and starts sliding down.
Wait. Oh no, wait, that's the beginning. That's not the end.
No, that's
when he goes on the mission.
That's not Shanghai. That's in Shanghai at the very end. It's right before he gets the thing and they get in the car. They call Julia. They call Davey to say Julia's alive or whatever.
Okay, because I thought you said he slingshots from one of the buildings to the other, because that's what he does at the beginning.
No, he goes off the top of the building, fulcrums out, swings back, and lands on the side of the building, and slides down.
Oh, so that's all one stunt for you.
Yes, that's all one stunt.
I thought you were talking about just the window jump at the end.
Oh no, the whole big.
You're talking about the whole mission.
Yeah, that whole big part. I love the jump from the building to the building part. That's what I love the best. The sliding down.
Okay, so that's the start of it, right?
Yeah, the start part. I like the starting part of it myself. That's my thing. The ending one is where he jumps out the window. Yeah, that's the ending part of the mission when he jumps out the window and has to end up on top and end up at the car and everything else. But the first part, I love the shooting the baseballs at the glass window and stuff. And he slide. That's my favorite part of. And I know. And I was going to say is that, like, unfortunately, like, this is not quite at it's Ghost Protocol. It seems like they took the stunts to the next level. That's where Tom Cruise are doing every stunt and doing everything, getting all involved. Like J.J. Abrams and company, they didn't let him just jump from a skyscraper to another skyscraper. They wouldn't let him do that. But now he probably would. They had to do it. They actually did it in a studio, but he did only wear a little harness. It was a pretty big jump, so I'll still take it as a stunt. I like that aspect. That was one of my favorite parts of 3. One of my favorite action sequences of 3. So I took that as my Mission Impossible 3 stunt, and I put up against for Mission Impossible Fallout. I went with the helicopter sequence. That's what I'm going to go with.
Okay,
Tom Cruise actually
not the Halo jump.
Not the Halo jump. I went back. I went back and forth. The Halo jump, to me, the Halo jump kind of reminds me a little bit of the plane one because to me they are more amazing for having Tom actually do it than as far as cinematically, because cinematically it doesn't look much different than anyone jumping out of a plane. Cinematically, as far as the movie goes, you look at the movie, like, oh, we've seen a million people jump out of planes before. What makes that sequence cool is that they actually are so high up and Tom Cruise is actually like doing the whole thing. That's what makes it cool. So I always I love watching that for that reason. I'm always going to come back to what cinematically works better for me, and that's the helicopter sequence. When he's flying the helicopter, he's like trying to drop the payload onto Henry Cavill's moon. He's like shooting back and forth. He's going.
He does a barrel roll.
Just barrel. He's doing all sorts of things. They end up crashing the helicopter. All of it's very cool. All of it's very cool sequences. I do love it. I don't know why I still want to give it to 3 though. I still want to give it to 3 because I still love the whole sequence of running.
It also starts off pretty awesome when he's drawing the buildings on the glass.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of a cool setup when he's like talking about the slingshot.
Yeah, it's more like drawn out and planned out. It's that, and I guess it's. I'm gonna give it to 3. I love that sequence. That's my favorite sequences, especially because like the whole thing is like they're like, you can't do this. You can't. And Tom Cruise is like, we have to do this. We only have like 2 hours left, and my wife is dead. Are you guys in or out? And Fingername's like, oh, of course we're in. I love it. So I do want to give it to 3. It's a very close one though, because God, that helicopter stuff is
you do want to give it to, but which deserves it more?
I think 3 does to me. 3 deserves it more because I think it's better cinematically than the helicopter works really well, really well. But I can be changed. My mind can be changed. Why don't you talk? Why don't you go ahead?
I think the number in MI3 the sequence is very choppily cut and sort of like it serves the story better. I'll give you that. The stunt serves the story better. But at the ending in Fallout, like you get a full glimpse of what's going on because when he's jumping and he's falling, it's like very J.J. Abrams. Like it's a lot of shaky cam, a lot of quick cuts.
Yeah,
I don't know the when you see it on the big screen and you see him doing the barrel rolls and him chasing Walker or Lark, I don't know which you call him, and also when he's getting on the chopper, he's actually falling on the payload. That's him falling midair on the payload. Yeah. That actually happened, which I think it might be the most dangerous stunt that he did in that movie.
Yeah.
They definitely talked about it. But I get it. Like you're approaching this more from a storyline point of view, and I'm approaching this more from a technical stunt approach.
Yeah, you're changing my mind though. You're right. You're actually not that wrong. I think I want to give it a 3 because I have an affection for that stunt. But that is a freaking cool stunt. The helicopter sequence is pretty fucking cool.
Right, and
I'm changing it.
And he's doing all of the helicopter driving. So
the fact that he's doing that is the bonus in that. I don't want to ever use that as
I know
what makes it cool, but when it works cinematically and it's even better. So I'm gonna change my answer. I'm gonna go Fallout.
All right. So for me, I considered taking the Halo jump and. I had a hard time putting it up against an like anything from MI3. So I figured, what is the coolest? It's almost not even a stunt, but it is, and it's the Shanghai run when he does like a minute-long run through like the marketplace. Because there's really like they they didn't do stuff like that in the Mission Impossible movies when they got to 4. Like, but that, like, if you really think, like, if you actually watch him run, like the fact that, okay, he's like super fast for starters, and that is a dangerous thing to do, to run through people and like things and props, and he does it for like a minute and a half straight or something like that. It's like a tracking shot, and it goes on forever.
Yeah.
And I try to think of what to put it up against, and in Fallout, he does the rooftop run, but it breaks his ankle.
Yeah.
He breaks his ankle. He jumps up. He finishes the scene. Now that is in the movie. Like, and spoilers, this is going to Fallout. I'm sorry. Like, I appreciate MI3, but when it comes to stunts, even with that, Fallout, like even if I try to take the lesser of all the stunts that Cruise does, it still takes it over MI3.
Okay, I will say it's funny if you know what you're looking for about the breaking the ankle part.
Yeah,
like if you don't know, and you might not even notice it, but if you know it's coming up and it happens, and you see him like pull himself up, and you see him like limp, he almost like does a limp to start, but it almost just looks like, oh, maybe he stumbles. But then they cut, obviously, but
it works. Yeah,
holy crap, it works. It works very well. It does work very well. All right, so you convinced me. We're gonna go to Fallout, and it's rightfully so, because they definitely, as much as I love 3, I think that 4 is where it really stepped up the stunt game. That's what it is now. It's become a different Mission Impossible from that sequence. I've always seen it's kind of funny if you look at it. If you talk about it to a lot of people, they separate them out 1 through 3, and then 4 through 6.
Yeah,
but 3 is in that middle weird zone.
It's the transition movie. It really is how it transitioned into this,
right. Because it's much more serious, more action-packed, it's much more taken seriously, but it's still more of a cinematic experience than it is like a stunt-driven action film in a way. It makes sense. But,
yeah, and a lot of people don't like MI3. They say it's one of the weakest ones, which is surprising.
You know what? Let's change that right now, because we're going to the next category. Better villain. I got 3 words for you. Count to 10. Count to 10.
But that's Tom Cruise.
You
got to talk about PSH here.
That's what he's the one. But that's what he's the one who said he starts counting to 10, and he does that sequence so well. Philip Seymour Hoffman does that. Tom Cruise acting is great. Philip Seymour Hoffman's acting is just as great. It's so menacing. It's so evil. It's so downright twisted. You're like, holy shit, this is really going to happen because of his commitment. That whole thing. He has the whole sequence in the plane where Tom Cruise, or Ethan Hunt, hangs out the plane. He says, he's like, "What's your name?"
Hurt her.
I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna hurt her. I'm gonna kill you in front of her, and then I'm gonna get her to be this close to death. I'm gonna kill you in front of her, and then he starts doing that. Did I say he was gonna scream your name? It's so wow. By far, he's the best villain of the saga. But I would put him up against any of the villains of the. I put them all together. I still think Davian wins. Davian is like one of my favorite action villains of all time. He's up
okay.
there.
I'm gonna try to argue with you just because.
Go ahead.
We got Henry Cavill, PSH. Fight. What happens?
PSH wins. He's smarter.
How?
I don't care.
What is smarter than this?
The fist cock. That's true. Philip Seymour Hoffman will be out of the building before I feel like Henry Cavill can get to him.
Henry Cavill will bring the building down with his bare knuckles.
Now, look, I'll tell you, I do like Henry Cavill, and I do actually like Solomon Lane overall. He's okay in Rogue Nation. He's still okay, but he did grow on me a little bit as the head of Syndicate. So I love them together. But come on, man. I mean, come on. I don't think you can seriously argue this for too much longer. You're trying to argue.
Break your heart here.
Are you really going to break my heart here?
Yeah, and that is the reason is Henry Cavill. Think about what he does as a character, and and try to really take out. I'll try to take out how much I love Henry Cavill and take out how much I love PSH. Like the actor is definitely an argument, but just for this piece of the entire argument. Take out both actors, it's just having them, blank, I don't know, faces. As characters, Walker / Lark manages to fool the entire agency of the CIA, also IMF, and then go head to head with Hunt, almost like I would say he's actually physically more capable than Hunt. Hunt manages to, I would think him. No, but it's not really outthinking. I think he grits him out. He's like more of a survivor type. But if you think about PSH, he's like your Damien's a weed. They even say it in the movie. He's a weed. Take him out, another one springs right up. Now give me Lark, another Lark who can take over and like fool everyone in the CIA and take over the syndicate and take on Hunt that way.
You're breaking my heart. You're totally breaking my heart.
I'm going down a road that you can't follow, but
and I can't follow because I still think Damien. There's nothing.
But you understand why I'm giving this to Fallout.
No, I don't.
No, you're being unreasonable.
I understand liking him. I love Henry Cavill in this movie. I do. I think it's a phenomenal choice, and Fallout is definitely the second best set of villains to me. But I think Damien is just so far above and beyond all the other villains. Like I literally put him top 3, top 5, at least in the top 5 villains.
I understand that.
Of all
I
time.
completely understand, and
So
he's so enjoyable to watch. Like he's slimy, slithering, almost like shit weasel, but he's a villain. He's not a shit weasel, but he could be the shit weasel. He's so enjoyable. But when you think about like badass villains, I gotta go with Henry Cavill. I have to. I want to go with PSH, but when I truly break it down and when I'm honest with myself, it's gotta be Fallout. He does way more. He's more capable. I think it hurts you because you know I'm right.
No, not at all.
No,
okay. It's hurting me because I can't understand how far you've gone off the right path. Davian's Davian's whole setup. He set up the whole helicopter escape sequence with the whole thing. He gets away with the helicopters. When he's taken prisoner, he has Musgrave working with him to get the helicopter to get away from IMF. Then he has the whole sequence. He doesn't Cavill gets tricked. Cavill gets tricked by Ethan Hunt easily.
He does.
That's almost like
that doesn't stop him to take it to the final showdown.
Yeah,
he still manages to come back from it.
Okay.
PSH he starts fighting PSH and just truck rolls over. He's dead. Right. That's how easy it was to beat him. I know I'm basing this on a little bit of physical.
That's okay, I guess.
But I got to think of the best of both worlds.
I literally I just shocked. This is the one category I thought.
Yeah, I know. I was shocked as well, and I still am. But I got to be honest with myself. And that's...
No, you do. But okay. I guess we have to go with better mission. Might as well just.
Might as well just fuck it.
Because I can't. I don't think I can talk about it anymore. I think I might start crying. So go ahead, better mission.
Are you going through your count to 10 moment right now?
I am going through emotions. I'm going through all my emotions.
No, Richard.
I don't want to move on because I'm like, I want to move on. So I gotta convince you otherwise. I want to help you. I want to help you.
Help me. Help you.
That's a different Tom Cruise movie.
That's a different movie, but it's still Tom Cruise.
Oh God, it's killing me. All right.
I broke Denuzio, people. I broke PLD. He's the PL now. I rearranged your letters.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's move into it. Let's move in better mission. I don't remember where we are. I'll just. You can start off. Start off this one. I think I started the last one.
Mission.
Yeah, better mission.
Okay. There's a couple to choose from in MI3.
You're going with individual missions? Because I went overall.
I think I might go with individual missions because I kind of like the fact that I like when a mission, they show a mission from the start to the end. It's usually why I don't pick the opening sequence missions because we just jump right in.
Right.
But the first mission they go on in MI3 when they're rescuing Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I want to say that they should have given way more screen time to Carrie Russell, and I kind of wish that she was actually part of the crew because
Yeah,
she had a connection with Hunt, and that was the driving force of the movie,
agreed.
almost as much as Michelle Monaghan. But it's very emotionally charged for that reason, and
I don't want to jack. I wonder just out of. I'm gonna interrupt.
go ahead. I
do
feel like I'm losing
wonder.
my train of thought a little.
I wonder if that's why they didn't have her carry on, because he wanted the connection with Julia and not with somebody else, because he couldn't have like two people with connection.
Right, I get that. Mm-hmm.
Just I don't know.
They could have had her as this, father-daughter relationship. Can seem creepy when he has a love interest. Yeah,
right.
I get that.
I mean, I don't know if that's went through their head at all, but I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility. But all right, so you did the mission with Carrie Russell.
Actually, I'm actually retconning my choice. I want to go with the stunt that you talked about, the Rabbit's Foot mission.
Okay, Rabbit's mission, yep.
And I know that J.J. Abrams does something that I wish he didn't the first time I saw it. Is he doesn't show when a Hunt is actually in the building, like how he gets the Rabbit's Foot. We just see him jump out. But what's so awesome about that mission is this is zero prep work. This is just Hunt going in full raw. Just I'm gonna bulldoze myself through this because I have to save her, and just pretty much does everything not wrong, but sort of on the go. It's kind of his public defender moment. So I freaking love how gritty that mission is. How he jumps out, he falls, and they pick him up on the ground, and they can't get in. They can't even get a signal. And I put it up against in Fallout when they're breaking Lane out again. Now, that is a mission that is thought out to the T. Like, that is a complete opposite, which I love. And also, I got to talk about that mission. It looks so much like The Dark Knight. Like, the music, when it starts off, it looks and feels and sounds so much like the Joker heist in The Dark Knight.
Yep.
If you look at the shots, you look at the buildings, you even look at the armored cars. Like, the fact, like, how they are, they don't really blow up the cars, but sort of like maneuvering them around, and the music, it sounds very much like the Dark Knight score, but they add in this sort of dun 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 dun. Yep. And so I'm pretty sure they sort of like, well, let's do something in that. and how they pull off, like, that is a mission that they pull off flawlessly. Like, Hunt goes down from the I don't know what's he jumps in the bushes and he falls through like the hole into the speedboat. Like, that's they finish the mission on the speedboat.
That's pretty cool. I love that part. That's awesome.
So yeah, sorry man, this is going to fall out again. It's just like this. I do love it in MI3. I feel like I'm gonna get muted. But MI3, I'll say this is the closest category for me, if it helps you feel any better.
No, because I would think Village should be closer, for Christ's sake.
Okay. I take it back what I just said.
Oh my God, you're killing me. You're killing me.
I know.
You're totally killing me. All right, I'll tell you about it. I'm actually, surprised and give this one to 3, and the reason why, it's a much more personal mission. The whole thing is more personal. It's first of all, it's about Lindsay, who dies at his arms, and then it's about Julia.
The eye charge.
Cool eye charge thing.
Oh man.
And her eyes look all fucked up, and it's all cool. And then Julia gets kidnapped, and he's never had that kind of a personal attachment to the mission before. And the whole thing's about getting her back, and that's where the countdown comes in. Everything else, he actually thinks he failed. He actually gets to the point where he thinks he's failed. Spoilers if you haven't watched 3, and I don't want to go any further than that, but you know what I'm saying. The whole mission is about. You don't need the rabbit's foot is so inconsequential to everything else. Like, you don't even care what the rabbit's foot is. At the end, they don't tell you what it is. What's the rabbit's foot? It's like, and then John's like, well, you gonna stay? He's like, well, I'll go my honeymoon first. We'll stay. And that's what makes it cool. It makes it not about the thing. It's not about the MacGuffin. It's about Tom Cruise and his relationships with his wife, his wife, with his well, he becomes a wife during the movie. Yeah. His student and his friends. And so to me, none of the thoughts great. A lot of cool stuff that happens, but that's the mission to stop a nuclear bomb from going off or discussion. Same old.
I'll give you that much. Like 3 feels like a whole movie. Like it feels like a well gelled movie.
Right.
6 is consisting of all the awesome parts and things. They travel, they go to here, there. They sort of there is a story, but you don't really like if he's on a mission. You don't really care how it ties into the story. You're like in that moment, it looks cool how they blew up that door. It's cool how they use tech here. Right. So I'll give you that much. But as we said, when you break it down into the details, things change. So I wonder which. Okay, I'm sorry.
We have a victor. We have a winner.
Yes. It fell out. You could say it fell out.
It fell out of my broken heart. Jarvie betrayed me. I thought he was my brother. But the winner is 6-4. Mission Impossible Fallout. It is 6-4.
That was closer than I thought.
I kind of had this like deep-seated heart that you would pick Mission for Mission Impossible 3. That's why I went the personal angle, but you'd go back. Then we'd have 5-5. Then we just to figure out a tie. But no, we didn't. You went that, and so we have a winner. And as I'm sorry if I know it's not excited. I am because I do love Fallout. I do like. I don't want to just ever come out that I. Fallout's probably my second favorite of the bunch, and there's a lot more cool things you can talk about Fallout. And we're gonna get a chance to next week, I guess, because that's what it's gonna be. We're gonna have Mission Impossible Fallout take on Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, which is actually kind of fun to think about. Because you think, how many times in a franchise can you say like the fifth and sixth entries of the franchise are like the winners in this tournament? Like in a way, like that they get better as they go along. I mean, I will always have 3 as my favorite, but I love both of them. So I'm always going to talk about Tom Cruise. I'm going to talk about Mission Impossible. So I'm not.
I can tell you are.
I'm still a little hurt, but I'll get over it. And next week we'll have a good thing too. I might hold a little bit of a grudge, a little bit. But that's what can I say? That's what it is.
I honestly like between the two, I'm okay either way. I'm really excited to see which comes out on top because they are freaking neck and neck.
Yeah, they really are.
The only maybe I'll even say this. The only sad thing about MI3 losing is now we have both very similar movies going up against each other.
Yeah,
it would have been 3 and 5. It would have been very different.
Yeah,
but I think the comparisons on our part are going to have to be way more deeper, and we're going to have to do way more homework.
Yeah, we do a little more homework on this one. That's true. All right, well that's what we're gonna do. We'll come back next week and find out who's gonna be the winner of the tournament. It's gonna be Mission Impossible Rogue Nation or Mission Impossible Fallout. I hope the chat is going off. Hope the chat is going off on Jarvie right now and telling him how wrong he is. And I hope they're telling us Mission Impossible 3 should have won.
Are we looking at the class action civil war here?
This might be a class action civil war.
Who's Team Jarvie? Come on, guys. Team Jarvie.
Team PLD. Come on now.
Team Jarvie.
All I got to say is count to 10 and Philip Seymour Hoffman. That's all I got to say. But anyway. All right.
That's all you can say. That's all you can say because Fallout is like way better.
Shut your mouth. Dirty, rotten scoundrel.
It's starting. The feud's starting.
All right, guys. Well, Jarvie, where can they find you?
You can find me at
nowhere because he's done. I'm done. Just kidding. Go ahead.
You can find me at Richard Eric with a K Jarvie on Facebook and Instagram, and you can find me here weekly, talking with Paul Denuzio and bringing him down weekly, frustrating him on class action on Action Industries.
All right, you can find me at Paul_Denuzio. This might be my last episode of Class Action. I'm kidding. You can find me on Chilled Action on the Call to Action podcast. We talk about movie trivia schmodown. We have on Sunday we have Mark Andrico as our guest, and that's on Monday at 8:15 Pacific. I also have a YouTube channel called PLD Project, which I'm starting to slowly develop. So go subscribe there. Of course, like this video, subscribe. Leave some comments. Tell us what you think. Let us know what you want to see. We can announce now. I think we do have a next guest for our next live edition. The date isn't set yet. Obviously, next week's the Mission Impossible tournament. So maybe not even say who it is, but maybe tease with the topic, and people can guess. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that instead. All right.
Maybe, because maybe it's not such a sure thing, or if it is, if you say it's a sure thing, then you can go ahead.
Well, he said he would like to do it. And he's all in. We haven't said a date yet. That part of the thing, but yeah, we got it.
Oh, actually, do say it so when he backs out, like he
call out on it.
Yeah.
All right. Next week, or not next week. maybe 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
2 weeks from now, Sunday, we'll hopefully go from there. We are going to have on a friend of the show, also very good friend of Action Industries and Action Industry staff member, Brandon Hanna is going to join us.
Yes, the hitman himself.
The hitman himself, the hot man. He may be healing the Schmodown. He's a heel, he's so good at being a heel that everybody really seems to hate him. Even I have to hate him because he had to talk bad about C2A. But that's okay. Like in real life, actually, he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. So we're gonna have him on. Dude. He's an awesome dude. And we're gonna be talking Star Trek 2009 versus Star Wars: The Force Awakens. So the two J.J. Abrams reboots ish of the franchises. I mean, Star Trek was a real reboot, and Force Awakens was kind of a reboot in a way.
A sequel.
Kind of had to reboot the whole thing for how it was going. So that's what we're going with that. But as always, we're on Class Action, same time next week. And court is adjourned, my friends. Court is adjourned.